this old guy named Raymond Prejean. He's the one who owned the camp, and he invited this old boy from Chicago to come deer hunting with dogs because he had never been to Louisiana. So we all standing around the campfire, and Raymond's telling him, them Cajuns.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Hayden, Alabama podcast. We're Southern Storytellers. I'm Philip.
I'm Robin.
I'm Uncle Tony.
I'm Neil.
We're here in Henderson, Louisiana today. We've been here for a couple of days, and I'm not going to go into everything because we're slowly going to get there in the episode with some of the stories anyway. But you guys I think you're going to be blessed. You can
One
be
of the
the
best
judge of
cultures in the world.
It is a totally different culture, just a few hours, really, from Hayden, Alabama. And so today we're going to try to capture that culture with some of the stories from down here in South Louisiana, Cajun, which is Cajun culture. And so when we got two fine storytellers, and then we got scripture time, and then a little special segment that I think you're going to be blessed by as well. But without further ado, let's get to telling some stories. Uncle Tony, tell us our first story.
Well, I'd like to start off with the culture part.
All right.
I said when we was growing up, we didn't have a whole lot to do because we was all living in the country.
Yeah.
So you had cousins and way more relatives than you did have friends when you was growing up.
Yeah.
So we had to make games to play and because we didn't have a whole lot of stuff to play with.
Yeah.
And
Uncle Tony, y'all didn't have the internet?
What's that? Internet? No way. No. You had to go play outside, and the only time you came in was to take a drink of water, eat lunch, and you better go outside again till that street light comes on. That street light comes on, you better be in the house. And that was the rules. And you didn't break them.
That's right.
Or you paid the consequences, and you didn't want to go that route.
Tell me one of them stories.
Well, we was over there at a deer camp in not far from here called Butte La Rose. And this old guy named Raymond Prejean, he's the one who owned the camp, and he invited this old boy from Chicago to come deer hunting with dogs because he had never been to Louisiana. So we all standing around the campfire, and Raymond's telling him, them Cajuns, when you go to sleep, make sure that, I guess, be maybe aware of it, that somebody might want to get in bed with you, And this old boy was looking at us. His eyes was about as big as softballs. So me and Andrew, it was getting about 9 o'clock. I said, Drew, let's go up the road for a little while. So me and Andrew left. My cousin got back. It was about 4 in the morning. And I asked him, I said, which one's my bed? He said, you see that one over there? He said, that'll fit you. Go sleep in it. So I took off, and I let myself fall on my belly in that bed, and I landed on top of this guy.
The Chicago guy.
And he starts hollering, hey, man, get off me. Get off me. I said, I will when I can, because I was,
Yeah.
And I rolled out of the bed on the floor, and he jumped over me, took off. And
He's headed back to Chicago.
headed back. We don't even know still today because he's never called, never come back. He left his gun, his clothes,
It was worth
his
it to him.
boots. Oh, look, this cat got out and never did call Raymond back, ever call Raymond about it. Hey, this, that. No, that never happened.
He may have never crossed the southern border of Illinois after he made it back up there.
I know one thing. I don't think he's going to cross the Louisiana border.
That's right. Oh, man. Those old hunting camp stories.
Oh, it just never stops.
It's just a treasure trove of opportunities.
Oh, yes, sir.
Now, you told us a little bit yesterday, and this isn't a hunting episode, but you have a story that you told me yesterday that the world has got to hear about going duck hunting.
Oh, we was going goose hunting.
Yeah, that's different. A goose
hunting.
is a duck, though, isn't it?
Right. Oh, yeah. But we was goose hunting, and we decided we was going to creep them. We was figuring out which way we was going to go, what levee, how we was going to do this.
Now, tell just in case somebody doesn't know, what does creep 'em mean?
Creeping, we had to crawl on our bellies.
Okay.
Like you do in combat.
Like an army crawl.
Right,
Okay.
an army crawl. And me, I left so quick that morning, I didn't even leave with a gun. I forgot my gun. So we got to the place where we was going to shoot these geese. And so we got out, we started crawling. We crawled about 200 yards in slush, mud, you know. And when we was getting close to where the geese were, my cousin figured out something that we didn't figure out, and he's sitting on the levee, just trying to get his gun clean because it was full of mud. And my older brother was there. Get down, get down. And man, I was barely peeping over that levee. All of a sudden, my brother couldn't take it no more. He got on one knee. He shot like that. Man, that old head on that goose went. I don't know how to say that, but it was a decoy.
It was a decoy.
A decoy. Boy, that would have
Gotta
been
put
hard
the
to
slip
cook.
on a decoy, huh?
What? You talk about that? It'd been tough to cook.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Y'all have made us so many good dishes, and we've eaten so much good food since we've been down here. But I don't even know if you guys could cook a goose decoy to where it'd be any good to eat.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! No way! I know we're pretty good, but we ain't that good.
Ain't that good yet.
No sir. No sir.
Well, tell me, Neil, you have yet to really tell a lot of stories. You've been letting Uncle Tony, even in our time just spending time together. Tell me a story.
So I'm thankful to be just to be able to travel and hang out and do a lot with Uncle Tony, one of my many uncles. And I'm also thankful to be part of I guess some of the generation that was able to experience some of the stuff that he did growing up. We didn't have same thing with us. We had an Atari, but our parents had to actually call us in the evenings, like, "Hey boys, it's dinner time," or my dad would come out and whistle, and we knew he meant business, And one of my uncles, my great uncle, his uncle, he actually installed a water fountain outside of his house so that his kids wouldn't have to come in to drink water. I mean, it was literally stay outside, right? But I'm thankful to be part of that. And a lot of my time growing up, I had two brothers, and when I was 15. My mom and dad had a little girl, but for a lot of my childhood, we were three boys, and a lot of our time was spent at the park. We did three sports: baseball, football, basketball, and it just rotated. And the way that our ages were spread out, we just spent a lot of time at the park, right? Friends, family, coaches, stuff like that. They were part of our lives, but we were also. I feel like I was blessed to be raised in this part of the Chaffalaya Basin, this part of the country. And we also spent time in the field. Most of our hunting was done to actually feed our families. I mean, we weren't big deer hunters. We hunted rabbits, we hunted doves, we hunted a lot of small game, squirrels and things like that. And we actually ate and consumed what we killed, which I'm a firm believer in today. And spent a lot of time in this place, the Chaffalaya Basin. So I guess I was about 10 years old. I was the middle boy, so we kind of just shuffled along, where everybody went, I went. My dad bought a Ranger, old Tri-Hull Ranger, maybe a late 70s model. It didn't even have the horsepower size on the engine. It was like 500 or 800. I guess that was CCs back then. But so back then, Dad had his old turf cleats on with the flap in the front and his blue jean cutoffs. And
yes.
And we come out here on a hot summer day and, catching perch and really anything that bit with crickets and worms. And I had one of these huge orange life jackets tied around my neck. And Dad, I can't cast. Dad, I can't cast. I need to get this life jacket off. Dad, it's killing me. So after, I guess, a couple minutes of whining, he said, "All right, son, I'm going to take this life jacket off. So stay by me, So he takes the life jacket off. I got my little Zebco. First cast, I do this motion, and I go over the side of the boat. And Dad jumped in. Back then it wasn't cell phones. It was the wallet and the keys and the fishing license and everything else. So Dad jumps in with his blue jean cutoff shorts and everything else. He jumps in, and I'll never forget. He picks me up by one hand and throws me in the boat. Pretty sure everything was running through his mind and what he was going to have to deal with when he got home. And I started squawking and this and that and telling Mom about our day. But we get in the boat and he's trying to gather himself, and I, for me it's fun. I'm wet and this and that, and I look at him and he's looking at me, and we don't have to say much. But after a couple of seconds, I say, "Dad, cast over here by this cypress tree. I saw 1,000,000 fish."
A million.
Underneath the water.
So
Golly.
we still laugh about that today. Dad's fixing to be 75, but we still laugh about that story today. But got a lot of great memories tied to this place, the area.
One thing interesting to me about that is you talking about that big orange life jacket. I was talking to a World War II veteran, and he was saying that he was on a ship and got hit by a Japanese torpedo,
Wow.
and they had to jump off the side of that ship. If you didn't hold that life jacket tight enough, some guys actually got decapitated
Wow.
because that life jacket was around
The neck.
the head. Like they went in, the life jacket floated and
That's
it
crazy.
separated.
That's crazy.
We didn't do much fishing, or my family didn't, when I was really little, but my grandfather had bought a 1970 ski boat, fiberglass ski boat back then, and they would go up on Saturdays to Smith Lake, which is pretty close to our house, a beautiful, deep, clean water lake. Well, I was about 5, and 5-year-olds always wanting to get into mess or whatever, so they'd usually just put a life jacket on me and strap it on tight, and I'd just do whatever while they were skiing. Well, I'm also very cold-natured. I'm cold-natured, always have been. Well, they were through skiing and they were just riding around. Well, I had got to looking for a warm spot in that boat, and I found me one, but I didn't tell nobody what I had found. And my mom, being the young mom that she was, got to looking, and I was the only child in the boat, but I wasn't in that boat.
Uh-oh.
And they're rolling down the lake, and Mom starts losing her mind, as you can imagine, like a mama should.
Right.
Well, they stop the boat, and they're looking, and they're thinking, where could I have jumped out? If we got to go back, where have we been, or whatever. And all of a sudden, my grandfather thought, wait a minute. And the steering wheel, column was in that one little spot, and there's a little covey up under there. I had, unbeknownst to anybody else, I had crawled as far up under that covey as you could, and I was in there sound asleep while the chaos was going on outside. My mama didn't know whether to whoop me or hug me because she thought I was gone. But that's those good times, man.
What?
Well, tell me another one, Uncle Tony.
Well, when we got to talking about Neil, my Andrew, all my stories, I do a lot with my first cousin Andrew. Him and my youngest son was in the Chaffalaya Basin right down here called Cow Island. And a lot of gators.
Say that, Phil.
He'll have to say it again if I'm going to repeat it. I don't do good with y'all's words. I'm going to be honest with you.
So there was a lot of gators swimming around, and so it was sac-a-lait fishing.
Which is crappie.
There
you go.
White perch, if you from Mississippi.
I'm standing up. I'm on the back seat. My son's in the middle, and Andrew's in the front with troll motor. Well, I cast like that, and I was standing up. So I put my foot on the edge of the rail of the boat on the outside. And so I'm looking. I cast. My baba stood up. Oh, I leaned over like that, sort of on the outside of the boat like that. And when I did that, my youngest son said, "Dad, look." And when he did, he leaned forward like that. I went in the water. Boy, I started panicking because I just saw a gator about here, about maybe 20 yards from us. So I started panicking. And they was laughing, but nobody would grab me. And I'd hook my elbows on the edge of the boat. So, and my legs had floated up. He says, "Man, try to stand up." And I put my legs down. The water was this deep. They still wouldn't pull me up.
Even though you could stand.
I got mad. Well, wouldn't you? Just seen a gator about 20 yards from the boat.
Yeah.
But they thought that was funny. That's what's wrong with them Cajuns. practically hurt you just to get a laugh.
That ain't the only thing wrong with them. But
There's one
But I
floated
love
up
'em.
last night. I was out there making my last phone call of the night after y'all left, and I was just sitting there talking, and all of a sudden I thought, what is that right there in the water? 5 yards off the back of the houseboat there. About a 7-foot gator just raised up, and he wasn't scared a bit. He's just sitting there looking at me.
No.
I'm gonna back up a bit. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I don't know if I ever told you. About a week after that, I talked to Andrew. You know, he said he went back to that fishing spot where you fell in. He didn't catch a fish, and he said it actually had a sheen on the water, almost like an oil slick.
Well, I know where you're going with that. No.
You done run them all out of there.
I'm telling you, man. But hey, it was. I'll tell you what, it was scary.
I don't want to fall in the water.
Yes, sir. I was
Not
scared.
around here.
Bill,
Worst thing-
you got a big gator yesterday. Tell us about that a little bit.
Where these fellas were kind enough to hook us up with a gator trip, and the cool thing was I've never been. Robin has been gator hunting,
Yeah.
so he's familiar with it, but all I've seen is on Swamp People on TV, so I didn't know how we were going to catch the gator, but it was truly like the Swamp People on TV. They had lines set out with the chicken thighs on them, a big
Hanging out the
hook
water
hanging.
about
You had
that
to.
deep, but that high. I mean,
We pulled the boat, or we backed the boat down in the water. I get my fishing license there on the ramp, on my phone. And I'm standing in the water right there because I had on muck boots, and everybody loaded in the boat. I was the last one in. I jumped in and pushed the boat off the bank there. We didn't do anything but just crank the motor and back up off the ramp, and we floated, and 10 yards away, there's a big, huge cypress log laying there. And he said, our first line's right here, and it's down. I thought, man, you got a line at the boat ramp, And sure enough, there was a black rope going down in the water. It was taut, and he pulls up on it. Scott pulled up on it, and he just looked back there and he said, this is a good one. And I thought, man, how do you know it's a good one just by touching the line or whatever? But I trusted him.
yes, sir.
And he said, come on up here to the front of the boat. So I go up there. It's, kind of a long aluminum skinny boat. And he pulls it up, and all of a sudden I start seeing just green, more green. And when that big gator had come up, you couldn't blink. You couldn't even blink. And it came up and bit the side of that aluminum boat, that big old mouth.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I thought, man, this is real. Like, we are really here, really
He was
doing
mad.
it. He ain't happy
mad.
to have
No,
that hook in him.
He was mad.
And they followed a minute, and he said, they gave me the little lesson. I thought this was really cool. Jordan has this belt buckle that's a gator head. And he said, look at my belt buckle. He said, right here at the end of the gator head, there's a bone.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and you'll see a ridge. And he said, right past that ridge is where you want to shoot that gun. Put that bullet right in the middle of his head, right behind that ridge. And I thought, okay, I was kind of nervous. You don't want to mess up, on the first one.
Right.
But sure enough, when that gator finally quit fighting and it came up, you can see clearly that bone ridge. And I didn't, but they wanted me to, he didn't tell me this, he was wanting me to get the end of the barrel really close.
Okay.
Close. I like that.
Man, I'm from Alabama. I say,
Long
man, I can
distance.
shoot this thing from right here,
I don't have to get right
I
on
ain't got to
top
get
of
that
it.
Bill
close.
was shooting three.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
saw what he
Half
did to the
court.
side of that boat. I said, we ain't going to get that close. And before he could even say, get the gun, boom, I'd already hit
it.
that spot, and it just, folded up.
Quick and easy.
But it was over 10 foot long.
That's a
And
big gator.
Scott looked at Jordan. He said, let's put one more in him. And I was like, amen. Now, if there's anything that's been said, I'm all about it. And the crazy part is being so ignorant because we don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Right.
So we load this, and that's what Jordan said, you got to put him in the boat. And I've watched him struggle to put those things in a boat on TV. And so the lesson is reach on the opposite side and roll it. Just keep reaching to the
Right.
opposite side, roll it in there. You don't just pick it up and
No,
put
no,
it in
no.
there.
That thing weighed 400 pounds.
Yeah.
What I saw they do, they grab them by the jaws, get that much of the head.
That's
in,
it.
Just start to grab that leg on the
Opposite leg.
outside, and then just start rolling them in, and all of he just because the water's gonna keep him up.
Yeah.
to a certain point,
To a degree.
and then it's easy to roll them in.
It's easy if your name is Boudreaux, Thibodeau. But
Hey,
if
all
you
the Cajun names got a no at the end. They
That's
got
right.
Bro, Bado, Bobino, Boudreaux,
Arno.
Arno. I don't know why they got hung up with them no's, but they got a lot of no's at the end of it.
listen, we were going down the river, and the head of that thing is right up by me. I mean,
Sure
right
was.
there at me. And he started coming back to life a little bit.
Oh, they'll do that.
I've been around the block a time or two, and I ain't gonna panic, I ain't gonna scream like a little girl. But he started getting some life back in. I grabbed me one of them pieces of that rope, tied me a loop in it, I tied that mouth shut.
There you go.
He sure did. And
good.
what we learned was what they told us. Jordan kind of give us a little education seminar, I guess you'd call it, that the reptiles have a longer, like their electrolytes and stuff. It takes longer for them to extinguish after their heart quits beating, and that's why they'll move around for so long. But I'm here to tell you what, Robin's right. That thing moved like it was alive for I don't know how long.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking 15
An hour.
a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And but you get used to things. That's one thing. That was a lesson from yesterday. I didn't like that thing being in the boat.
Right.
I mean, it's almost twice as long as I am, and I wasn't really crazy about it being in it, but the business end was with Robin. So I was more comfortable with that. I was kind of towards the tail, but I had kind of gotten used to it moving around, wasn't paying no attention, and I was sitting there talking to Josh and Jordan in the back of the boat. We was just driving down the river. About that time, all the energy went to that thing's tail, and it come back and slapped me, and I thought I woke up, buddy. I was alive and in the boat again. But that went on for, like Robin said, probably an hour before he quit moving altogether.
yeah.
But it was a blast, and just want to thank y'all for that opportunity. It's something I always remember.
Well, that's what I do part-time. I mean, I'm retired, but I still work.
Yeah.
And I work for this alligator outfit and go and pick them up at the landings. And they had one, and there was guys that was helping me. One of them didn't notice, but they hadn't shot him that good, I guess, and he snapped at that guy. Yeah, but he didn't run far.
You talking about that sheen on the water?
Yeah.
We'd have run into that.
Well, yesterday afternoon, I don't know if you noticed, as the processor, when they offloaded him off the boat, there was one that I thought he was gonna crawl away. He was moving pretty good.
Oh yeah.
That from the other boat?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because all ours were,
Yeah, that was yesterday
they
afternoon.
were sure enough dead.
He was dead.
Are you in trouble? Well, we hope you're not. But just in case you are, we know a good lawyer. Whitney Island here in Hayden, Alabama has law services. Or maybe if you're not from Hayden, I'm sure she'd be happy to hear from you. So check her out at islandlaw.com. We appreciate Whitney and her sponsoring the show. Now, Uncle Tony, you got a story about a bicycle.
Yes, I sure do.
Yes, I do.
One to remember.
All right.
Well, it started out when my brother was working at a pharmacist up the road, and we lived on a gravel road. So he didn't want to, when it rained, he didn't want to ride his bike because he didn't want to put no mud on it. So he went to work that morning. I was at the house, and my neighbor came by with a brand new bike, and he says, I bet you my bike could beat yours. I didn't want to tell him it was my brother's. I said, I don't think so. I said, let's race. So we took off and was going to go around the house, and then we had an open carport where you go straight through, There was no sides. So we made the first round. I looked behind me, didn't see him. I said, I got him. Went around the second time, and when you went through the garage, I was looking back. And when I looked forward, we had an extension of the house, going out. And I hit that wall head on. And, man, them handlebars, they caught me right here in my crouch. I fell to the ground. That wasn't the bad part. It's when I got up. And I picked up that bicycle. And I started rolling it like that. That thing was rolling like this. I egg-shaped that front wheel. Man, I started crying. I knew what was coming then. When Big Brother come back, it was on, and it was on. I'm going to tell you what, I regretted that for many years.
Well, take me to that. What did he do when he got back? I want to be part of that conversation.
Well, Every time when he got there, he said, "Where
He
you?"
couldn't find you at first.
No, he said he couldn't find me because I was hiding.
Oh, I bet.
He says, "Tony, where you at?" I said, "About come out the back of the house." You live. I can't believe you did that. But he looked at his bike. He kicked me in the rear end and he slapped me behind my back, of my head. He kicked me in the behind again. He slapped me behind my neck. Man, this went on for about 2-3 minutes. But you know what? I had 3 older brothers, but I had good brothers.
Yeah.
I was the one that was the terror. In other words, they told me not to touch it. They should have told me, go ahead, you touch it. I wouldn't have touched it.
That's right. Did
But,
you have to pay for his new wheel?
No, I didn't pay for it, but I paid for it in a lot of other ways.
Not
what I mean?
monetarily.
Oh, he got his money's worth. I promise you. Oh, yeah, he got his money's worth.
Oh, man.
Oh, yes, sir. But that's not the only thing. Growing up, we didn't have a whole lot to do. Like we'd make some slingshots. We'd go in the trees and get some branches with the like a Y, chisel them up, and then get some tube and cut strips, and then we put it around that one side and put some string and tie it on the other side. Then we take an old tongue off a shoe and cut 2 slits on the side and pass it through and then tie it with some rope again. And then you just put a rock in there.
And knock out every window in your mama's
windows
house.
And, what?
I tell my 2
Bird.
girls, if they had YouTube when we were growing up, I mean,
Oh, man.
I know several of our family members would be YouTube
Kids
famous,
don't
but,
play with slingshots anymore.
Man,
No.
that's the good old days, right?
But you had to more or less make your toys. Like sometimes we would think, like, we'd watch Westerns and we didn't have no color TVs. So we would take a broom and find some old Coke cans with our shoes and mash them, and they would hook on the side of your shoes. Then we'd get in that gravel road and we'd prance like a horse.
Clickety-clack.
That noise was good. It was nice, But that's the kind of stuff we did growing up.
Y'all be wondering what the poor folks was doing, huh?
What? Oh, yes, sir.
Well, I don't think we had time to worry about the poor folks. We were too busy running around, putting playing cards on our back tire with a clothespin and making dirt bike noises and all that good stuff.
That's innovation is what
Man.
that is. Boredom is a breeding ground
but
for innovation.
We found something to do.
What I love is that we're a lot of miles away from where we grew up, but we're not that different because I would have thought we were the only people that had the brain power to think about stomping on the middle of an aluminum can and making little noise makers
little
out of it.
noise,
We did the
yeah.
same thing.
We sound
toys we
different,
had.
but we ain't no different.
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, we can't pronounce your words, but we got a lot of other similarities, though.
And then in 1999, I had a restaurant and meat market in Cajun, Louisiana, not far from here. And I had some friends I'd been hunting with. They said, Cajun, come up here. He says, man, you're going to make so much money. Because there's nobody like that doing Cajun stuff. So he talked me into it, sold my business down here and went to Montgomery, Alabama. And I had fun with it. I met a lot of great people. But it was a little different now. When I got there, my boudin was so hot. I had to put 2 or 3 gallons of tea in the cooler because they needed to drink something.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Uncle Sam. You better explain that statement. My boudin was so hot. Somebody may take that totally out of context.
Well, I got to be more
What is boudin?
to explain it. It's just cooked pork and grind it and add rice to it and the gravy, and you case it into a casing.
So it's like a sausage.
It's like
but
a
it's
sausage,
a mixture
but
in a
it's a
sausage
mixture
casing.
in a
Yeah.
sausage.
And it's delicious, by the way.
Tell you what, it wasn't, but once I fine-tuned it, because the way I had it at first, I
They
was
couldn't
lighting
deal
them up.
with it.
Well, I was lighting them up bad.
but bad.
It was bad. Well, anyway, I had a good experience with it and made a lot of great friends.
Now, you had a restaurant up in the Montgomery area. You had multiple, but you were up there
Right.
for, 13 years? How many
13 years total. I was in Millbrook, Prattville.
And what was crazy is last night we learned I played baseball at AUM for a year. You, at the same time, I was there in 2000, and you were just down the road on the same highway that I ran up and down.
Yes, sir.
And then here we are, how many years that been later?
25, I believe.
And we found out that we were just right there by each other for a whole year.
Yes, sir. Not far.
Not at all.
Not far. But then this old boy come in one day. He said, "Mr. Arnold, I want some. I want about 3 pounds of boudin." Okay. I went. I got it together. Gave it to him. Next day he comes back. "Mr. Arnold," he said, "my boudin fell apart." I said, "Fell apart? What you did?" "Well, I put it in my gumbo." My poor wife, she couldn't take it. She ran in the kitchen, poor thing. She didn't want to laugh in front of him. I said, "Man, you don't put that in gumbo. You put that in the microwave or on the grill, on the side, on the low fire, and that's how you eat it." Man, I had some good experience. Then they had another guy named Mule Dunn. Mule, he used to rodeo. He was a rodeo clown. So anyway, I got to be friends with him. He come to the shop, and I started getting crawfish in to do ball crawfish. So my daughter comes, and she says, "Dad, you need to come see." I said, "What's wrong?" "Mr. Mule." I said, "What about Mr. Mule?" "He's eating the crawfish whole, shell and all. He was eating the whole crawfish. He wasn't taking the tail out. He was eating the whole thing, shells and all.
Crunchy.
I said, "Boy, it ain't going to be good for you tomorrow."
Oh, man.
But, boy, that's the kind of stuff, they just didn't. You know what I mean? They just.
Didn't have any idea, just like us. We don't
And then,
have a
look, I
clue.
made some turtle traps, and we caught like three snapping turtles. One was 19 pounds, 21, and 23
Snapping.
snapping turtles. And then the 23-pound one had 77 eggs in it when I cleaned them. So I took them by the house, and, Alabama, I found out got a lot of sandy soil. So I stayed about 3 feet from the house, and I buried them about maybe a foot and a half deep. 68 days later, they all hatched. And I found me a cardboard box. I put them in the box, me and my little friend. Put them back in the pond where I caught them. And I don't know how many survived, but we put 77 snapping turtles back in the pond.
Wow. So she was fixing to
Conservation.
lay them.
Lay them, yeah.
How big were they? You
They were
remember?
about the size of a 50-cent piece or a dollar thing, about this big. But if you take a stick and put it in their mouth, they would snap at it.
They come pre-programmed with
Oh,
that.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Then I didn't go ahead and make some traps, and I brought my buddy in. He had a pond. He said, "Man, I cooked some one time." Man, he went crazy. It's like, man, I didn't mean to do that. Every turtle would cross the road. He'd perfectly wreck his truck to stop and grab it by the tail.
You getting that road kill.
Yeah, it wasn't a roadkill. It was crossing the road. But you got to grab them by the tail because they got that neck now. A soft shell, they got a long neck. They can come around and bite you, but if you hold them by the tail, they ain't gonna bite you. They can't reach. So anyway, I made him a trap. Man, he stayed after me. That was the biggest regret I ever had, was turning him on to a turtle.
Well, and every farm in Alabama has a farm pond. So
That's right. We got the
no
pond.
shortage of turtles.
Yes, sir. But the experience I experienced in Pentlala, I just lived across the street from Ray Scott, Bassmaster Mr. Scott. Well, there were the President Bush and his son, George Jr., they came up to fish with Ray at his place. So me and the wife was watching TV. All of a sudden, these two guys come through the door, not knocking, nothing. And it was the Secret Service that had to check out that, before that motorcade came through to bring them to Ray's house.
Unannounced, huh?
Unannounced.
They were coming in. It
No
didn't matter.
warning. No, nothing. They didn't even say nothing. They just came in, and the only thing they said, Secret Service. That was it. Yes, sir.
They were looking for that boudin.
They heard about that good snapping
Want
turtle.
to eat some of that turtle.
I guess. But then it was kind of like,
And knowing you fed them when they came in there.
Absolutely.
I tried. I said, "Hey." Then I got another buddy, Jimmy Watley. He calls me. "Hey, buddy, what you doing?" "Oh, wait," he said, "let me guess." He said, "You cooking a brown gravy." I said, "You got that right."
Or if LSU was on, that's a guaranteed.
Oh,
Gravy.
yes. And then I had an experience, too. I had Auburn and Alabama fans all the time in my shop. So, man, they was steady beating us. So I'm at Auburn, and my buddy worked for Shambar McPhillips. He's from Morgan City, Louisiana. And he was practicing law in Montgomery. So he got some tickets. He says, "Hey, you want to go to LSU Auburn game?" I said, "Sure." So I'm sitting there, and they got an Auburn fan right next to me, and he's got them little pom-poms, them orange and whatever, white and blue. So it was drizzling, rain. Man, every time Auburn would score, he'd twirl them like that. A face full of that water. After they scored a few touchdowns, I said, "Look, buddy, I can take the whipping, y'all beating us 35-7, but as far as you twirling that stuff in my face," I said, "I would appreciate if you quit doing that."
Yeah.
But he was very nice. He said, "I'm sorry, sir.
That won't happen again.
It won't happen again." But anyway, in 2007, we finally won the national championship, and we had beat Auburn and Alabama that year. So this customer went by somewhere by Troy, and he had a LSU flag and brought it back to me. So we always had fun in my restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
So it was lunchtime, and I had one of my workers follow me out the back door, and I had my flag. And then we came through the front, and he opened both doors, double doors. And when I walked in there, I started doing that flag like that, LSU
You
flag.
wouldn't rub it in, would you?
It was all like, oh, yeah. But it didn't last long.
Yeah,
Then I had a
that SEC,
buddy
you
of
better
mine.
not talk too much because next year's a different year.
Yeah, but this year, I don't know, man. I wouldn't bet. I wouldn't bet on it, you know. But, I don't know. Anyway, they had
It's fun though. No matter what, I love a good rivalry and talking it up. It's just good.
Just a game.
Oh yeah, the guy Ron Riggles. He was a big Auburn fan. I mean, everything. His lamps in his house was Auburn colors. So he called me one morning. He says, "Man, I think I'm gonna commit suicide." I said, "Come on, Ron, is that bad?" He said, "It's bad, man." I said, why you want to do that?" He says, "Well, we just got a new president, and he said Saban's going to Alabama." I said, "Well, you might want to reconsider that."
Yeah.
Because that was it. After when Saban got to Alabama, it was on, and I knew that. But you see, that's some people that was over there at Tuscaloosa and told me that when he got there, he asked them all. The chains, everything got to go. You know what I mean? It was no more. This was business, and that's why they got 6 national championships.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
From him,
Yeah.
they got 13, I think, altogether.
I don't know how many altogether, but a lot of them are attributed to him. We were watching the Alabama-Missouri game on Saturday.
Yes, sir. I watched it.
And I was sitting there just watching the game. It was really tight. And we didn't really know who was going to win there. And my youngest daughter came up, and she said, "Dad," and she never pays attention to the game.
Right.
She doesn't care about it. But she was looking at the thing, and she said, "Dad, what does retirement mean?" I said, "Well, retirement means you've worked, and you've made a decision to stop working. Usually you've kind of saved up enough money to where you don't have to go to work every day."
Right.
She said, "Well, when you retire, does that mean you can never work again?" I said, "No, you can anytime. It's not like a rule. You can start working again if you want to." And she said, "Well, they need to call Nick Saban and tell him that he can work again." I thought, that's pretty sharp. That is pretty, because she's not used to, every game just worrying to death about if we're going to win or not. Because that's what she grew up in.
Right.
Was savings year after year after year.
After year.
And it's not like that no more. So,
Yes, sir.
he was a huge difference maker.
Oh, yes. And he knew that. I guess Ron knew, and I knew, everybody knew, though. Whatever college he would choose from leaving Miami in the pros, that they was going to be, they were getting a good coach.
That's exactly right. Yeah, we miss him. Ain't no doubt about it. There was a golden retriever that wasn't golden up here yesterday, just a beautiful dog. But you got a story about a dog.
Yes, sir, I sure do. It was that same camp with that Chicago guy that came to the camp.
Yeah.
Well, Raymond would buy some deer dogs out of Arkansas. Well, these guys had came up, 2 of them, and brought some dogs to Raymond. So this old Cajun Paul Lassane and Paul was known for. I wouldn't like to see it, but
Yeah, I understand.
But anyway, he was there, and those guys was talking, and Paul started talking about his one-eyed dog that never lost a trail. So, man, them guys was all focused on listening and everything. So about 2 weeks later, they came back with 2 females and wanted to breed to this one-eyed dog. Come to find out, it was a headlight that he was talking about on his head.
That's the one-eyed dog.
Right, the one-eyed dog.
So that done made a several-hour commitment to breed to a headlight.
They weren't too happy.
They was not happy.
They were not happy. No, sir. They was not happy.
That's serious business, though.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, you come a long ways with 2 dogs.
That's right.
Man, that's a scratch.
That's a scratch.
It's a scratch.
That's
But
what they used to
anyway-
call it in coon hunting whenever your dog would, maybe fight or something like that. They just
Right.
scratch it. That means
Scratch
you're
it.
out.
I coming on with dogs like that too, man. I had some bad experience with some beagles. Oh man, me and my cousin was hunting. We had 4 of them. We had a female and 3 males.
Uncle Tony, could you please tell us the names of those dogs?
Oh, we had one Jake, Jerry, Bell, and I can't quite remember the other third male.
Julie.
Did it end with an O?
No. He wasn't a Boudreaux or a Thibodeau. No. But anyway, that Jip was in heat, so the male dogs didn't want to go. Everywhere she'd go, they'd follow right behind. They didn't want to hunt. So I said, I'm going to go put it in the car. I didn't have a truck then. I had a car. So I went put it in the car. A little while later, I guess, she needed to, Man, I got in there. They had mess from one end of that car to the other. You talk about hard to stop and get a piece of boudin to eat when you're hungry. And you got that kind of smell in that car. It's not good. It wasn't good. No, sir. It wasn't good.
Did y'all kill any
Oh,
rabbits?
we managed, though. Huh?
Did y'all kill any rabbits that hunt?
Not many. Them dogs didn't want to hunt, man.
They done got their brain
Oh, yeah, they
messed up. Well, let me tell you one little thing about how you mentioned you didn't even want any boudin after the smell of your car.
Oh, no. And
Yesterday, we got done on those lines in gator hunting or whatever, and you told us, or Scott told us, I forget, one of y'all said, hey, go get some lunch down here. They got a hot plate lunch at the gas station.
Right.
So we ran down there.
I'm starving.
Robin's so hungry. He can barely think. He's done got mad. He's so hungry, So we go in there, and Robin goes to the hot bar. I really didn't want anything from the hot bar. I was going to get a piece of pizza. They had the Hunts Brothers pizza,
Right.
Well, Robin goes and checks out, not paying attention to him. Josh and I get our Hunts Brother pizza and a drink. And Robin said, let's just sit right here in the restaurant. They had a couple of tables there. Let's just sit here and eat so I can go ahead because I'm so hungry. I saw
Now,
him.
all day we'd been fooling with rotten chicken.
I saw him.
Rotten chicken. Been out in that heat. Maggots crawling up out of it. I had to take it off that big hook. Rotten chicken.
Robin, I noticed that he flipped his lid on that styrofoam thing open, and he just slowly put it back down and latched both things. And I said, Robin, I thought you were so hungry. He said, I can't even eat it. It's the same thing I've been pulling off him Nancy hooks all day, and what it was a chicken
Smothered
thigh
chicken.
in a gravy.
Oh,
And
my
he
God.
literally, as hungry as he was, he didn't eat
He didn't
one
want to
bite.
eat
I
it.
couldn't do it.
It didn't bother me none. I took it.
Did you have any chicken in the gumbo last night?
I don't know what I was in that gumbo. It's good.
You ate it though.
He wasn't picking it out, I guarantee you.
Oh, no.
Well, I derailed you a little bit, Uncle Tony. Go ahead.
We was out there trying to shrimp, and I had, my knees were bad, and I couldn't get up, and this is what these guys do. When you're around a bunch of cages like that, be watching yourself at all times, because
Good
they're trying
word.
to film something to put on you, you know what I mean? And I was kind of dismounting out of the boat to get on the dock, and man, it took me about 5 minutes to get up to my feet because I was stiff,
Yeah.
But they just find things like that to video and just to laugh at. You know, on the way over here, my cousin, I told him, I said, I told Neil, I said, and Drew's going to shoot him a 200 plus deer, you know, with his crossbow tomorrow. So I was talking to Andrew on the phone coming up here. I said, send me a picture of that deer. He sent me one. It was a 4-point.
Hope he didn't pay for it.
Now, that's wrong. Yeah, but he did that to joke with me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted him to send me that big rack that he showed me before. He sent me a 4-point. Boy, did he laugh, Neil?
That was pretty funny this morning. Got us moving.
Early this morning. This goes on all the time.
Got us moving.
So there's a video out there of you trying to dismount a shrimp boat for 5 minutes that we could find.
Right. Matter of fact, Neil's got it.
Oh, well, we may have to just...
Man.
Let's see what we can do with that. Uncle Tony, you've been shrimping. What about some crabbing?
Well, what we do, we get about maybe 5, 6 of us, you know, women and guys, and we go to this weir that, you know, we go.
What is a weir?
What it is,
levee,
it's
like a
we
control structure.
Pile rocks up in the river.
right. They had a levee with rocks, and then they had 5 pipes coming out into the canal, which the water drains out the marsh through those pipes.
Okay.
And there's a lot of good shrimping, because all we would do, we wouldn't drag a net. We would just put the boat head on to the pipe and drop 2 nets on the side, and they'd come out that pipe, and that's how we was catching
You
them.
have 'em.
Cajun ingenuity.
That sounds like a good spot to me.
Right. And then in between, we would fish. I mean, we like crab with a string and a chicken neck on it, and then you just pull it slow to you, and then you take a dip net, and they like to back up fast, so you come from the backside and scoop them. Well, me and my friend was standing there, and that's when my buddy John walked up behind me, and I was leaning over looking at her catching the crab, and he stuck a crab in my pocket.
A live
A
crab.
live crab, son. I took off that levee. I didn't know if I wanted to hit the marsh, take the pants off while running, but I had some
I got a
women
lot of
there.
comments, but I'm not gonna make any of them.
Yeah, you were in mixed company, so you couldn't just...
You couldn't just do what you wanted to do to get the crab from quit biting you inside of your leg, and it was pretty close.
And that's tender meat.
Oh yeah, yes, real
And
tender.
they pinch hard.
Yeah, they pinch hard. Well, anyway, I managed to get that pocket half pulled out. It dropped out some kind of way, but I was glad it got out that pocket.
Y'all fishing for blue crabs or...
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Blue
yeah,
point. So if
blue
you've never
point.
had bald blue point crabs, Cajun style, you're missing out.
Oh yes.
I prefer it over ball crawfish day in and day out.
Yep.
Hard to
yep,
beat.
Yep.
Really?
Hard
How
to
much protein is inside that to eat?
Ooh, I couldn't tell you.
It's more work than you eat.
I was going to say... it's
That's
probably-
why I don't like eating them, like, out of the shell.
It's a little tedious.
But they got it's like anything else. A guy showed me how to break them open and do that. Now, there's a better way.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, you're going to fight them, and you ain't going to like them.
Or you
you're
could
not
eat
gonna
it
like the
whole.
work. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
right. You
won't
like
the
soft
work.
shell crab?
I do. They
I
actually, there's
do. I
places
love
in
'em.
town that do a soft shell crab po' boy.
That's exactly what I was fixing to ask.
Yes, sir.
And it's just weird because you
You eat the whole thing.
The
It's kind of like the
legs
way
and-
that guy, the Alabama guy, ate his
Yeah.
crawfish.
And
You
Right.
just eat the shell and all, everything.
But Mule he didn't have a soft shell crawfish, though. He had a hard shell crawfish.
Tell me another one.
I was in Montgomery probably a year, and my nephew was coming back through from Atlanta. So he was kind of speeding, and he got stopped by the state trooper. So he walked up to the car, and he asked him where he was going so fast. Well, I was working in Atlanta. I'm trying to get back to Louisiana. And so he asked him for registration, proof of insurance. When he saw Arno, he said, "You have any relatives up here?" And Neil didn't know right off the bat. He knew I had moved up there and had a restaurant, but he didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, the officer starts to walk off. Neil says, "Oh, yes, sir, I do have an uncle somewhere up here that's got a restaurant and a meat market." So he comes back with a piece of paper, and there was a warning. He says, "Being that I know your Uncle Tony," he says, "I'm going to let you go." So when he called me the next day, he said, "Uncle, I owe you." I said, well, next time I see you, I said, I want 2 plate lunches. I was making my order.
That's right. That's the least you could do. I'd rather buy you 2 plate lunches than pay a state trooper ticket.
It
Oh,
blew
yeah.
my mind. I didn't even give him the name, but I could say I learned my lesson.
Oh, yes. But it just, living in Montgomery and meeting, different people, it was an experience. And I would do it again. I mean, I wasn't as successful as I thought I would have been if I'd have stayed where I was, but I enjoyed, the run.
You blessed a lot of people with some food they couldn't get
did.
any other way.
Oh, no,
He
they would
did.
tell me all the time, it's different, so different.
My family and I went to Orange Beach this summer, and I'm a girl dad, so my girls, they some beach bums. They love the beach. We normally go a couple of times a year if possible. And we were on the beach, and the little guy with the umbrellas and the chairs, he comes by, and it probably helped that we had a couple girls and my wife and all doing their thing, and he goes, man, y'all need some help. So we started visiting. And I had a Raging Cajun hat on, University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and he goes, man, you guys from Louisiana? Yeah, we started talking. He said, man, I played college ball a little while, and I got to play in Cajun Field. Had a good time down there. The backers alumni cooked for us. We had some great food. And I said, well, where's home? Where are you from? And he said, well, I'm working down here this summer, but he said, I'm from Montgomery. So this was this past summer. So he's early 20s, but him and I got to talking. I said, Montgomery. So I get on the phone. I call Uncle Tony. I got him on speakerphone. Him and Uncle Tony start talking. And Uncle Tony says, because he had several locations at one time, different points, his stint while he was there. And he said, well, yeah, one location was at XYZ location. And the little guy said, well, I went to high school right around the corner. And Uncle Tony said, well, so-and-so from this law firm used to eat at my restaurant. We cater some of his events, some of his private functions. And the kid started laughing. And I said, and I looked at him like, what's wrong? He said, I'm best friends with that attorney's son. So although he didn't know Uncle Tony, his best friend's dad did and did business with him. And, it just goes to show you how small the world is, And I tell my girls that all the time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I really enjoyed it. I did. I can't say I didn't.
Well, before we go into the Campdog a little bit, do you have one story? You brought a whole list. Do you have one story that just has to be told, just in case everything falls through and we can't come back down again next year? You got one final one you'd like to tell?
When I left Montgomery, I'd go back up every now and then, see some friends, and I went by it was an insurance company in the same shopping center I was in, and I got to be friends with them. So I went visit them, and I said, hey, how y'all been doing? And this, they said, Mr. Ono, I got to share something with you. I said, what's that? He said that this guy would come in every morning for about 2 hours, sit in his vehicle in front of your old place and just sit there and stare at it. For 2 weeks, he told me he did that. And
Did he bring his own Kleenex?
I don't know, but
He just wasn't going to accept it.
no,
I
no,
can't
sir.
believe they,
Uncle Tony's
maybe
coming
they
back.
on vacation.
That's right.
They
But
might just be on vacation.
like I said, I enjoyed it. And I still have, I go up there still. I still go visit, hunting.
Yeah.
And
Y'all mentioned last night one thing you said. We were swapping stories out there while y'all were cooking, and Uncle Tony pulls up his cutting board, sits down out back, and he is telling Neil everything Neil needs to do. He's making sure you do
Like
everything.
Neil ain't never cooked gumbo before.
Right. And so
right now,
Neil is bringing him in. So you started with onions, and then you went to bell pepper, and then you went to sausage, and then you went to a turkey
tasso.
tasso. I can't even say that. But the whole time you're telling one story after another. You're taking your time. There's no hurry in it at all. And you're just slicing everything just like you want, telling stories, putting it in a bowl. Neil's taking it out of the bowl, putting it in the gumbo. But one thing that you talked about was that you had given, or y'all talked about together, is you have given people exact recipes, exact spices, everything that you would use, and then they come back to you and they just say, it's not the
It's
same.
not the same.
But all the ingredients, quote unquote, are the same. You just have learned to do something a little different.
Right. I've had them stand up next to me and go from start to finish.
Not the same
Not the
product
same.
in the end.
Not the same.
Now, one more story, I think. One more story that I want you to tell is you, early on, I think this was in Montgomery, you can quote me if I'm wrong, you had helped some people make some gumbo and kind of started a little trend in that area, and then you stepped away and they tried to keep going. Tell that
Well,
story.
What it was the Tallies. Their last name was Tally, and they had a construction company. And she says, "Mr. Arnold, I'll make a deal with you." She says, "You like to hunt?" I said, "Oh yeah." She says, "Well, we got some hunting over here in Troy. I'll trade you to teach me how to make gumbo. If you want to come hunting too, I mean, you can still come hunting."
Yeah.
"Oh no, man." I said, I'll be willing to do it, to share it with you. But she called me back again. She says, "It ain't gonna work." I said, "What's that, Miss Tally?" She said, "It don't taste nothing here like yours." So I said, "Well, when I make something, I'll call you. Just come get it."
That's right. They got to have you. You have got to be part of it if it's going to be the same.
I don't know why it's like that, but it's a true story. You can sit there and teach. Now they got one guy in Sampson. I've taught him how to make crawfish etouffee, which that if you can't make etouffee, then you don't need a cook. You know what I mean?
Oops.
You need to eat out of a box.
Easy, buddy.
No, for real.
Well, so we mentioned Campdog earlier, and so Campdog is a seasoning line. It's y'all's business product, and you cooked with that last night and we tried, I think everything that you had, it was all delicious. But Neil, tell them a little bit about Campdog.
So Campdog was initially started by Mr. Scott Paradin out of Ville Platte, Louisiana, a small town just north of where we're at in Lafayette. Scott Paradin, a.k.a. Papa Scott, Campdog, he started out, and so I'm going to back up a little bit. One of the ways I learned how to cook with uncles and parents and family and friends and different people at the camps, we kind of graduated up, right? So initially you at the camp, Uncle Tony's at the pot, kids are running around and everything, but they may grab you running by and say, "Hey, I need you to cut this bag of onions," or he may tell his son, "Hey, I got
peel these shrimp."
Exactly. Peel these shrimp, dehead them. We got a 10-pound bag of potatoes here, start skinning. And as you accomplish that and mastered that, because they had to be a certain size and there couldn't be any rinds or seeds or anything, and you kind of graduated. So early on, I was kind of drawn into just the Cajun cooking, the culture, and everything else. So long way around. I went to school kind of late in life. I went to college kind of late in life. And one way, shape, or form, I ended up on the collegiate bass fishing team and was part of that for a couple years. And we traveled. Well, as a Cajun who likes to cook and meet people and talk to people and hear their stories, one of the things I learned is, Cajuns, we don't leave South Louisiana without something. Boudin, cracklings, gumbo, season all. Right, so we would travel major portion of the southern United States, Gunnersville, Pickwick, all parts of Arkansas and Texas. So one day I get a call, and it's Papa Scott, or Scott Paradin, and one of his buddies that he hunts with, which is my coworker. And he goes, "Hey, Neil, we over here at the deer camp, cooking, talking, making a gravy, enjoying the outdoors. Scott Paradin wants to talk to you." I didn't know who he was. And so we got to talking, and he said, "Neil, I got a question for you. You've been buying these cases and cases and cases of seasoning through Randy. What are you doing with all this product?" And I said, "Oh, that's easy, Papa Scott. I give it away. We travel a little bit, hunting fish, and I give the seasoning away." And he's like, "That doesn't make sense. You buying seasoning from me at retail, and you giving it away." So I said, "It's just something I enjoy doing." Long story short, Papa Scott and I sat down one day over a cup of coffee, and he said, "Bud, let's go into business together. So the rest was history. You know, we both enjoy the outdoors. He's a little bit further north than I am. But basically, in a nutshell, that's how I got involved with Campdog Cajun seasoning. And, you know, Uncle Tony was a natural fit. I like to tell people he's my number one salesman and my number one delivery guy. We
Just
only have
number
one
one guy.
employee.
Yeah, Robin, how can I miss? I'm
We
the
only have
one.
one employee.
Yeah,
Ain't no number two, huh?
Yeah, it's called nephew abuse. They ought to make a law about that.
He does a good job, though. But yeah, that's
So
how I
that's
got
the
involved.
story of Campdog.
That's it. So Campdog Cajun seasoning, Papa Scott, basically he started out at the deer camp, at the table, a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of garlic, and then you know, he'd give a sample to his neighbors who were staying in the same hunting camp, and you know, he'd put the word out, hey guys, I'm getting ready to make a batch, and then, you know, hey Scott, I need a gallon of that, man. Hey, if you're gonna do it, look, here's $10. Give me a gallon of that seasoning you make. But the actual definition of a camp dog is at most every hunting and fishing camp in South Louisiana, oftentimes there's one person who stays behind that cleans the camp, washes the dishes, you know, makes breakfast, cooks the eggs, makes the coffee. A lot of times it's the more senior guys who are in a different phase of their hunting.
They're retired.
Here we go again.
They like to see
They abused.
Elderly abuse
absolutely
again.
abused often, and make sure you read the story, but they're often overworked and underappreciated, you know, but there's always someone who stays behind at the camps in South Louisiana to cook, clean, build the campfire, you know, pick up after everyone, you know, and that's the official definition of a camp dog.
Did you know that?
I knew the process. I didn't know the terminology.
He didn't know the Cajun terminology.
I sure didn't. I'm
so-
glad you took a second to
Yes,
work
sir.
through that. Because
Absolutely.
I had no idea.
And it's a way of life for us, you know, it's
I'll tell you one thing.
definitely not compensated.
You could put that on anything. French fries, fish. I had already told one, you know, if you want to bring your dog, we can hook him up too. I mean, whatever you want, we got it. And it's going to taste like something. You know what I mean?
Well, it is really good, and
I'd love to put it on a goose I tried to eat one time.
Not the one that decoy I shot.
That one that was 41 years old.
41 years old, man. That thing, how long you cook it for? 3 days?
Man, we boiled on that thing. It's still like, it looked like a catfish on a limb hook trying to get a bite of that thing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
we had the original Campdog
sir.
original seasoning, mild. We had the red hot sauce. We had the green hot sauce last night. A little bit of everything. Did
Yes,
I
sir.
miss anything?
We have a
He
couple
talked
of other
about
products.
fish batter.
Yeah,
I
you
want
did
to
the
try.
fish fry. It's really good.
We do have a couple of other products. So the original blend that you guys had, that's I'm gonna call it our flagship product. It's gluten free, no MSG, only 8% sodium. It was a little spicy for some non-Cajuns. So after a little bit of trial and error, Papa Scott did come up with the mild version. We call it non-typical, like the non-typical deer. It's a little bit less heat, but we also have a seafood boil. We even have a bread pudding mix.
Good.
A lot of people really love our hush puppy mix. And when Papa Scott and I got together, you know, initially we sat and we kind of went over everything, and I'm like, it's hush puppies. You know, like most people, that gets left on a seafood platter down here. But I sold him short until I tried it, and I said, man, I owe you an apology. These hush puppies are phenomenal. We have dehydrated jalapenos and crushed red peppers in them. And there's so many things you can do with them. You can even make a cornbread. We were at a dove camp way South Texas, McAllen, South Texas, and we had a small leftover of crawfish etouffee, and we had the hush puppies. So Uncle T over here, in all his wisdom, we took the hush puppy mix and he put the crawfish etouffee in it and mixed it up. and then we fried those whole. Around here they call them seafood
little
boulettes.
balls.
Uh-huh.
But basically, it was a fried
boulette?
hush puppy bowl
boulette.
with crawfish mixed in it. But you can add shrimp. You can add, we call them gumbo shrimp, the small shrimp. You can make seafood balls. You can make Mexican cornbread. For Mother's Day, I added a couple pounds of crawfish tails, and I did crawfish cornbread for the ladies in the house. And it was a hit. It was a hit. But
I
we
bet
have
it
a
was.
variety of
And-
products.
And you know what people don't understand? They said, man, y'all have the knowledge and the how to cook. I say, well, it's creative.
Yeah.
Man, you ought to see the thing that's coming out now. They got some, what they call that, some boudin tacos.
Yeah.
They got
Boudin
they just-
biscuits, all kind of
it's
stuff.
whatever you can change it to make a different item.
I want a boudin biscuit.
They got them. No, yeah.
We'll
You
make it
stop-
happen.
You
Well,
stop
I've-
that gin. I mean, what's the one in Rain?
Not Kev's.
They make boudin biscuits.
I'm yet to have anything I didn't like. So I'm thankful for you guys, and I'm thankful for that. And we'll put a link so that they can grab theirs. You're going to want to do that.
Yes,
So
sir.
we're going to get a link to your website so they can get on there and
Yes,
get their
sir.
own dose, whether it be the original seasoning or maybe some of that.
Absolutely.
Let's puppy mix or whatever.
Let's go a step further. We'll do a promo code. Hayden Alabama podcast. We can do HAP.
All right.
If you want to do HAP, we'll give 20% off website orders. HAP no limit, and just type it in at checkout and save you 20%.
3 little letters.
That's it.
HAP, and that'll
That's
take
it.
care of 20%. Well, I appreciate it on behalf of them. I appreciate that too. Well, let's get into God's word real quick,
Absolutely.
and then
Yes, sir.
we'll go eat some of this. Maybe y'all done made me hungry talking about all this stuff. We got
Yeah,
to go
we
get
gotta
something
take
to
a break.
Oh yeah, but y'all got a lot. Y'all got some specialty getting coming up later on this evening.
eat. That's right. We get all kinds of comments. Robin gets all the good comments. You
Not
know,
all of them,
nobody
but
ever
most
says
of them. And
anything.
thank y'all for the kind words.
but they're not all good. And unfortunately, as human beings, or at least I only speak for myself, we hyper focus on the negative comments. You can have 99 good comments and 1 negative, and that's the one you're looking at, and you're thinking, what do I need to do different to make this person happy or make this person like what I'm doing or whatever? And it can lead you to a place of just not good.
Right.
Take your joy away, I
Yes,
think is the best way that I can say that. And Jesus has got a little something right here that can help us if maybe somebody out there is struggling with some negative feedback and maybe trying too hard to impress the wrong people.
All right.
In John 2, I'll read a little short passage for us today. This is John chapter 2, verses 23 through 25. Now when talking about Jesus, now when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover during the feast, many believed in his name, observing his signs which he was doing. But Jesus, on his part, was not entrusting himself to them, for he knew all men, and because he did not need anyone to testify concerning man, for he himself knew what was in man. Now that's a strong word. So Jesus had been doing these miracles, man. He was blowing people's minds with the great works that he was doing, and he got a crowd, and they were following him, and they were wanting to be around him and see what else he was going to do. And for us, for Philip, I'd be like, man, yeah, I'm killing it. Now look at what, man, I'm doing so good. Got all these people are excited about what I'm doing or whatever. And Jesus is,
Let's do a podcast.
let's do a podcast and tell everybody how great it is. But Jesus is like, no, not that he's being ugly, not that he didn't appreciate that they appreciated what he was doing, but he was not going to entrust himself to those people, nor was he going to entrust how he felt about himself or anything else to their emotions, because there at the end, for he himself knew what was in man. And that's one of the negative things about humanity, me first, is that I can say one thing and mean another. My face can be looking happy, but I could be angry as I can be on the inside. We can be hypocritical. That's the definition of hypocritical.
Yes.
It's a mask that covers what's real. But here's the problem. is
God
that-
knows the truth.
well, God does know the truth, But here's the problem. I will trade in my joy and my peace to try to impress somebody sometimes. Why am I doing that?
Yeah.
Because they could even be telling me, oh man, Philip, you're the greatest thing in the world, and then turn around and really hate me and be saying whatever else.
Stab you in the back.
So the solution, that's right. So the solution to this is, and I think the practical, if you're struggling with that out there today, the takeaway that I want us to all have is if we will focus, as Jesus did, on God, focus on doing what God wants him to do, focusing on glorifying God with everything that he did, then you ain't got to worry about everybody else.
Yes, sir. Right.
Worry about the one that matters, and that's God himself.
Tell the truth to yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yep. And I don't know, maybe there's somebody out there struggling with that. I hope there is, that this would, not that you hope you're struggling, but I hope this would help you. It's just maybe refocusing your efforts, refocus what you're trying to do on what God needs you to do, and do that to the best of your ability. And then don't worry about what everybody else is thinking.
Amen.
Amen.
That's harder said than done.
Amen.
Amen.
But know this, God loves you.
Yes, sir.
And know this, Brother Robin likes good compliments. He looks at them all the time. And if you think Brother Robin ain't looking at your comments, you're crazy.
Yeah, I'll be reading them things.
He likes to read those comments. Well, you guys have blessed us. We're going to go get some groceries. You promised us another fine meal. I'm going to have to buy new pants to get back to Alabama. I'm going to need a 36.
After we leave this place tonight, you better just, I don't know if you got to.
I got some sweatpants, Uncle Tony. Is that what I need to wear? They stretch a little bit.
Probably, but I mean, just don't eat a lot.
Don't eat a lot for
Don't eat
lunch.
a lot, leave some for tonight.
Well, we'll see how good I do.
You're not going to regret it. You're not going to regret it.
That's one thing I know we're not going to do is regret it. Well, I appreciate you fellas. That's going to do it from Henderson, Louisiana today. I'm Philip.
At Chapelile River Basin. I'm Robin.
And I'm Tony.
And I'm Neil.
We'll see you guys next week.